New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Reverend Robert with you. And now the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. It means it's Friday night, 5 p.m. on the Mountain Time Zone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being with us. If you're watching live, please do hit the share button, hit the like button, hit whatever button you want. If you're catching us on a replay, well, then please hit the share button, hit the like button, hit whatever button you want, as long as it doesn't, look like that. Trust you're going to have a positive time here tonight, because that's what we're all about. We're all about bringing you the positive news and stories that we believe will uplift and inspire your weekend. This first story, I got to tell you, this might be the best news ever for the uninspired or the slackers in our lives. Scientists are saying that you can lift weights for just 3 seconds a day and actually build muscle. Right? All right, here it is. So the idea was a study was done with 39 healthy university students. They all did bicep curls, or well, one group did a lowering, dropping the barbell, and that's called an eccentric bicep curl. And then another group did a concentric bicep curl, and then another group just held the bar out, and that's called an isometric contraction or bicep contraction, because there's no curl. The people that did the eccentric and lowered their bicep increased muscle mass by 11.5% by doing this for just one curl, 3 seconds a day, using maximum weight. I'm not, this I didn't have a chance to really dig into this research, folks, and into this study, but it shows that if we are giving any effort to our goals, if we're giving any effort, and if we're taking any step forward to meet life in what it is we desire, well, then we're going to see success. It's going to happen. I love our next story because from man to man's best friend, from human to human's best friend. We've mapped the human genome. Now we're mapping the dog genome. And scientists are have a new study. It's called the dog aging process. They're mapping the genome of over 10,000 dogs and this is a long-term study happening at Princeton University. Professor Joshua Akey said, quote, "This is very large, ambitious, wildly interdisciplinary project that has the potential to be a powerful resource for the broader scientific community." And they're going to look at why certain dog breeds live longer. Part of this is that, given that, and this is another quote by Professor Daniel that Promislau at the University of Washington. He said, given that dogs share the human environment and have a sophisticated healthcare system, but are much shorter lived than people, they offer a unique opportunity to identify the genetic, environmental, and lifestyle factors associated with a healthy lifespan. Humans' best friend might just be helping humans to live a little bit longer in the long run. Yes, all puns are intended. Thank you. I appreciate your applause. I appreciate your tips. We'll be here all week. Uh, Thank you, folks. More of the good news here on New Thought Media Network. We try to have fun on Friday nights and share with you a little bit of what's going on. Now, this next story is something that we've actually been covering for quite some time. Many of you may remember this program began as a podcast a few years back now. We've taken a couple hiatuses over time and reemerged as this video broadcast that started late last year. So, this is a story we were covering on that audio podcast. And the Forest Survey of India has found that the tree planting efforts that have been going on have really done a great job. Over 870 square miles of forest cover over 500,000 acres, and that's all happened in the last 3 years. Now, this is not everything that needs to happen, but we're showing results. And as we reported back in 2016, Indians planted 50 million trees in a single day that broke a world record. Now, interestingly enough, that world record was set by Pakistan. So it seems like Pakistan and India are fighting over who can plant the most trees. Now, seeing as the history that goes back between Pakistan and India fighting over things, I think fighting over who's planting the most trees is probably the healthiest and one of the best opportunities for everybody involved. Plant more trees. I think it's a good thing to do. And now, on this program, you may notice we have an affinity for exploring what is new in the world of electronic vehicles and electric batteries and all the pieces and parts that are taking us away from fossil fuels and oil-based vehicles and propulsion and moving us into the electric age. Well, here's another great story. Detroit is going to be the first public entity to create a EV charging road. So vehicles will be charged wirelessly as they drive across this 1 mile such stretch of road. So let's be real, good folks. This is not a massive rollout, and you're not going to charge your Prius as you drive down the road all for miles and miles and miles. But it is a start. Unfortunately, it would appear that this 1 mile of road might be a little expensive. There's a partnership going on between a company named Electron out of Israel, that is an Israeli company, Electron. They're working with the Michigan Department of Transportation and with Ford Motor Company. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer said, as we aim to lead the future of mobility and electrification by boosting electric vehicle production and lowering consumer costs, a wireless in-road charging system is the next piece of the puzzle for sustainability. It says here that Michigan will provide 1.9 million in funding for the Michigan project. Does not say exactly how much this whole mile of road is going to cost, but it says that the state of Michigan is going to kick in 1 million. The project will be in collaboration with Ford Automotive Company, DTE, which is a local energy company, and they're going to provide a connection to the electricity grid for the electric road. Roush Clean Tech is involved, and their work is they convert commercial vehicles into EVs, and they're going to provide an electric truck to help measure the output of the road and determine the feasibility of the project. It's a step. I love the idea. And folks, we know that as we move forward in this vision of a world that works for all, a world that works for everyone, we're going to have to take the steps that are required. And some of these are going to take time, and some of them are going to take testing, and some of them are going to fail. On this program, we've reported on other attempts at electrifying and illuminating roadways in Europe. And well, here we go in America. We're on the brink, and we're going to give it our first shot. So we encourage you. We're going to keep following this story. If you've wondered what you stumbled into, you're watching the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. We're going to take a real quick break, share a couple of commercials with you, and let you know a little bit more about some of the things that are going on around the network, how you might be involved, and all that. So please hang on for 1 minute. We'll be right back with more of the good news. And we're back with more of the good news here on the New Thought Media Network Friday evening. And I'm joined tonight by my semi-regular co-host, Terry Paul, Terry Choyce. Welcome back to your one. It's great to have you with us again. Now, you took last week off, and we brought Rev Z in to cover sports for us. And I like to look at Terry as our international correspondent. She makes sure for sure we always have at least one Canadian story in our lineup every week. And so I'm grateful to have you with us, dear. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I got 2 Canadian and 1 international story for you today.
Well, then I'm going to slip out of here and let you take the reins. Have a great time. Here we go, folks. A little more good news with Terry Choyce.
Hi. So my first story takes place in Toronto, and I'm a little phobic about food waste. So, over the next while that I'll be doing this show with Reverend Brez, there will be lots of stories about innovative ways that people are saving food. And this takes place in Toronto. And this fella, his name is Braden Wolf, and he's launched a business called Remarkable Rejects. Kind of interesting title. And the whole mission of this company is to sell what he calls the unsellable. And so customers can sign up for a weekly delivery of slightly off kilter fruits and vegetables that the grocery stores won't accept, or that if the grocery store has too much to fit into their stores, they just reject it. So examples of rejects include zucchinis that are too big. Well, I've grown a garden, and zucchinis, one day they're like this big, and then the next day they're like this big, and the next day they're torpedoes. So I appreciate that zucchinis can get too big. Apples that are too small, and cucumbers that are too curvy to squeeze into standardized packaging. Wolf discovered that much produce fails to meet the exacting standards of big box grocery stores due to almost unnoticeable imperfections. While some of this produce is donated to food banks or incorporated into processed food, much of it is inevitably thrown out or left in the ground to rot. So Wolf says, I thought it was kind of ridiculous to have all this waste. A lot of people are hungry right now, and produce in stores is getting more and more expensive. And ain't that the truth? The contents of Remarkable Rejects boxes cost up to 30% less than regular products at grocery stores, and Wolf soon discovered that most people will happily sacrifice aesthetics for savings. Plus, With folks cooking at home more than ever, the company's weekly grab bag provides a bit of novelty. So thank you for people like Braden Wolf. My next story is about climate change, inadvertently. So what's happened? A week ago, representatives from more than 100 countries arrived in France for a summit on protecting oceans from pollution, plastic, and overfishing. The nation which birthed the most famous marine biologist in history, Jacques Cousteau, welcomed the One Ocean Summit, the highlight of which was a 43-nation agreement to create a treaty to regulate the high seas in a more sustainable way. So it says 100 countries went, but only 43 agreed. Yeah. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development joined the European Investment Bank and other state development banks to create a 4 billion euro fund for helping countries reduce their share of plastic pollution that ends up in the oceans. And in the private sector, 22 shipping countries pledged to reduce underwater noise pollution, sulfur pollution, and greenhouse gas emissions above deck, while 18 ports also signed on to reduce emissions. Well, it's a start, folks, but we're going to have to do a whole lot more to calm this climate crisis. And the last story goes back to Toronto. And this is kind of a salute to African History Month. A 10,000 square foot building in downtown Toronto will soon be home to a Black creative community space run by Black Lives Matter activists. The Wild Seed Center for Art and Activism, which is Black owned and operated, claims to provide a radical space for Black creativity and organizing. On the website, the founders are referred to as artivists, kind of like that. Artivists who hope to build an enduring space that could cultivate the most transformative and radical ideas from Toronto's diverse Black communities. The building will include everything from meeting rooms and offices to a community kitchen, a dance studio, and a sound booth. Hey, it's something for Diego and something for me. We were running, quote, we were running a fellowship program that was supporting 13 artists, which already exceeded the needs of the space that we had, said Mr. Hudson. As this has always been a dream of ours way back since 2014, we're really excited to finally see it come to fruition. Jessica Kirk, who is Wild Seed's executive director, said the venture was possible through public grants and organizational and individual donations, including Black Lives Matter. In addition to creating a space for Black Lives creatives, Kirk said the team is working to use the center as a place where history is documented and preserved, and I would say history is being made. So thank you for joining me, and if you'd like to listen to my show on New Thought Media Radio, Feel the Flow is on Wednesday, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Yes,
Thanks a lot, Robert.
Thank you, Terry. It's so great to have you with us. I love the stories you pick every day, every week, and please keep coming back and keep bringing those stories back with you.
Will do, buddy.
And I'll tell you, folks, a little secret. Terry and I kind of pull from some of the same sources, and we sometimes she got to a story I wanted this week before I could get to it. But that's the way it happens. That's how it happens, because we're here to bring you the good news. And if you have a good news story you'd like us to cover, please let us know. goodnews@ntmedia.org if there's something you think we should cover, or if you'd like to be a correspondent and you'd like to come in and support the good news, sharing it with people, then let us know that as well. We'd love to share with you how you can come in. It's real easy, real simple. You can get behind your webcam, join us as a correspondent here on the Good News. We are looking for correspondents in all areas and from any time zone. So plan to join us for that. We're going to take another quick break. Don't worry, though. We've got a whole bunch of more great news stories for you here tonight before we wrap up. But we do want to say thank you to everybody that makes this possible and share a little bit of some of the things that are happening around the network. Please give us 1 minute. We'll be right back with more of the good news after this.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Om Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, for your most generous donation. And a special thanks to Heckerland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Odgen, thank you for your very generous donation. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
And we're back with more of the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. Friday evening, I'm Reverend Robert. Thank you to my co-host Terry Choyce for being with us. And to wrap it up this evening, I've got a few more good news stories. These all focus around different people in the world. And our first person that I'd like to introduce you to is somebody that we know, Ashley Manning. Well, not personally, but we know Ashley. She's appeared on this show a few times now. And we caught wind of Ashley back in 2020. Now, let's follow this story. February of 2020, we really didn't know what we were stepping into. However, by that point in her life, Ashley, who is a florist in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, had already decided she wanted to do something special for widows and women at home alone, especially on Valentine's Day. And in 2020, she sort of anonymously donated and gave away 20 or 40, excuse me, 40 flower arrangements, and just left them on the windowsills of different people. Well, last year, she took it a whole nother level, and more organizations around the community started getting involved. Last year, she delivered upwards of 150 flower arrangements. This year, anybody want to take a guess? Over 400 flower arrangements that she was able to deliver to men and women in our various stages of experience of being alone, of reaching out beyond. It's called the Valentine's Day Widow Outreach, and it's on Instagram and they're out on Facebook. And Ashley's doing the good work of being a good human. Thank you, Ashley. Kudos to Ashley for being a good human in the world and making things happen. Speaking of being a all right, this isn't about being a good human. This is about everybody else recognizing that all humans are part of the oneness that we're doing. I want to introduce you to Sophia Giroux, and she is the very first Victoria's Secrets model that just happens to have Down syndrome. Sophia's personal motto is there are no limits, and she continues to prove that day in and day out. Now, this isn't just, they didn't just go pick her to be a model to make something. She's been in the modeling industry and has been doing her work to get to a point where she's recognized as a model and recognized as a professional that of the caliber that would be included in a Victoria's Secret collection. Top of that, on Valentine's Day, she was featured in Vogue. Congratulations, Sophia. So happy for you. So happy for humanity that we're really finally starting to look beyond the appearances and see people for who they truly are and what they're truly capable of. Thank you for that. Our final story tonight, someone who is showing us that there are no limits. I want to introduce you to Michelle Rakati. Rakati. I was practicing that one. Rakati. Michelle was paralyzed by a motorcycle accident, completely severed his spinal cord. Now, if you look at that picture, does not look like it, he's moving, and there's no therapy for what happened, and he has absolutely no sensation in his legs whatsoever. However, he received a new medical implant that is emitting an electronic signal into his spinal cord, and he is beginning to be able to start to move unaided. He used to be a boxer and runner, used to enjoy his time in the gym, and after his motorcycle accident was told that he would never walk again, and there was really no hope for him to walk again. And he is walking to a degree. It's a new, we're going to call it a new style. Within a single day of activating this new stimulation program, he was able to stand, walk, cycle, swim, and control trunk movements. Neurohabilitation created sufficient improvement to restore these activities in community settings, opening a realistic path to support everyday mobility. This is not everything. It is not a cure. There is a lot of work to be done, but science is on the job. Folks, I think this is good news, and it pretty much as good as it gets. We're going to follow this story, and we'll be sure to bring you that and more of the good news here on the New Thought Media Network, Friday nights at 5 o'clock. Again, please do feel free to join us. Donate over on the website. Send us your input at goodnews@ntmedia.org, and we'll be sure to respond to that as well. I'm Rev Robert. I'm going to get out of here for now, let you get back into the rest of your evening. Please join us again and again here on the New Thought Media Network. We'll be closing up the evening. Well, coming up next, actually, just a half an hour, is the Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, top of the hour. Go grab a little bite of dinner and come on back and join us for the fireside chat. And his special guest tonight, Reverend Dr. Charlotte Manning from Washington, D.C. Always a great time when the two of them get together, so join us for that. We'll be back again real soon. Until next time, peace.